Today I'd like to talk to you about the 10,000 steps rule. Now, walking is a really good form of exercise. I've talked about it a lot in previous videos and on some blogs on our website as well, but specifically I wanted to talk about the 10,000 steps rule. And to get into the weeds of why it's not always the most useful guide to follow, we need to kind of figure out where it came from. So for those of you who don't know, the original idea behind the 10,000 steps was actually through a Japanese marketing campaign in the 60s. It was to promote a product called the Manpo K, which translates roughly to 10,000 steps meter. So this was a early pedometer that people could use to monitor their steps, and they were marketing it as the 10,000 steps meter to promote people as being that's the guideline. Now, for some reason, I think because of good marketing, that number stuck around and it's found its way into research and guidelines and things like that. But it was literally plucked out of thin air because it sounded like a good number. That being said, research that's moved on since then has confirmed that 10,000 steps is a good amount of walking. For a guidelines of kind of increasing your step count and increasing your activity levels, trying to get fitter, it's a good start. It's something that can tick a lot of boxes. But where things start to go awry is in that metric itself, the 10,000 steps. One thing it doesn't mention anything about is the intensity of it. So for people who are no stranger to monitoring their steps, you may have noticed on some days where you've been really active indoors, being very busy, your step count has been surprisingly high. And on other days where you have been going outside a bit more and walking around, it hasn't been quite as high as you'd expect it to be. And think, well, why is this the case? One being more tiring than the other. You can do a lot of steps if you are having lots and lots of little breaks in between, and the numbers will look really good on your step counter, but it's the intensity that counts with it. And that's why it's not always the best metric. If you look at the World Health Organization, they often recommend, rather than 10,000 steps, they often recommend 150 minutes a week of moderate physical activity. They do also recommend 2 sessions a week of strength building exercises linked in with that. However, in the vein of kind of intensity and things like that, 150 minutes of moderate physical activity. If you're going to high intensity activity, it's actually 75 minutes. So you can either do 150 minutes of moderate physical activity, you can do 75 minutes of high intensity physical activity. So if you're going lower than moderate, which can be the case with 10,000 steps, you're actually diminishing the results of it a little bit from there. If you do increase the intensity with it, that does increase the benefit, and it can also mean you get it over and done with quicker, which is a win for some people. So I'm not against 10,000 steps. I think it is a good metric to use, but if you're doing 10,000 steps in small chunks, very low intensity, that might not be giving you the results that you wanted to. You can still try and aim for those 10,000 steps and try and increase the pace, and you'll get much more benefit. But the 10,000 steps rule, it's not one of those things that is gold standard. You don't need to follow it, but it's one tool in your box for getting you a bit more active. I hope you found this video informative. If there's anything else we can do to help, don't hesitate to call our clinic, and hope to hear from you soon. Thanks. Take care.